Hello everyone, Krista Cis here, and today we're going to be working on legs. So, not only to get them stronger, so you can, have a steadier base in your dance, but mostly to understand how that base is created. So, oftentimes, especially if you are into fitness and into yoga and stuff like that, you send me messages asking, oh, what muscles should I engage, or should I be squeezing my glutes, or should I be doing this with that muscle and that with the other muscle, stretch here, squeeze there. But even though this is a good first step, you need to take the second step and start understanding what's going on further within. Why? Because that will allow you to have a better alignment and a more balanced alignment compared to always squeezing and pulling and stretching and pushing, which could lead to muscle fatigue and possibly to injury. Plus, it doesn't give you an enjoyable dance feeling because it's as if you're doing a workout the whole time. So I want you to use this 3 exercise video to do a little bit of both. If you haven't explored the muscles of your legs, excellent, it will help you do that. But I want you to go through it at least twice so you can see first, yes, the muscle. Secondly, how the bone of the leg feeds and moves within the hip, and then how the hip moves around the leg. So we're gonna be starting on the floor, and then we're gonna make our way up to standing. Hope you will enjoy it, and I'm waiting for questions and feedback from you. So we're gonna start from our toes and our feet. And I want you to sit in a nice relaxed position with your feet extended in front of you. And you're gonna start taking the toes up towards your body, your face. And then down towards the floor. Start from the toes. See how they curl in, and then reach them down towards the floor. So try to avoid to be very aggressive here. Go a little bit slow because your feet might cramp if you're not used to this. And start noticing how your toes react, and we want the whole foot to be active here, and you're gonna feel this in your calves and all the way up to your hips. Avoid lifting the heels off the floor right at this moment. We want to avoid this because it would mean that you're actually locking your knees, and we don't want that to happen. Let the knees be soft, so let the heels rest on the floor, and keep on working like this for a little bit. You can add as much time as you want. And notice how nice and gently this feeling, this movement starting from the toes spreads through your whole foot, and your whole foot curves and reaches up. So we want to activate the whole foot. And then we're going to reverse from this position. First spread and send the center of the foot down toward the floor, then curl the toes up. So imagine that you're starting from your heel instead of your toes. You're pulling it up towards your knees, and then the toes will be the last ones to curl. And then again, your heel will want to go forward. And then the toes will come up. So it's a little bit reverse compared to what we did before. It needs a little bit of focus. Rest. Always remember to rest your heels at the end. This version will make you feel that you're working a lot more through the rest of the leg and not so much with your feet. So as you can see, especially here, you want to feel the lower part of the leg activating, sending those heels forward, slowly, 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 before the toes start to flex. Reaching for a full flex at the end, and then releasing that. So the muscles of the rest of the leg will start relaxing. Then from here, we're going to open up the toes and close, and open and close. And I want you to notice the whole line as we're opening, right? You can do one leg at a time. Open. And as we are closing. And you want to feel how the femur that feeds right into the hip moves within that hip. So as you're moving, if this is your hip, this is your leg doing the work. Let's add on to this. From here, point toes, come back in full leg, flex the toes, open, reach, turn, come up, open, reach, turn, and now, reverse. Down through center, open in the point, flex, and turn. This will make you work your legs in a slightly different way. Always keep in mind that your toes are like the little sensors at the end of your body. So you want to feel the space around and feed that feeling into your movement. You can see here how it works through the whole leg. Always keeping in mind that maybe you can point the toes less than me or more than me, so don't try to exactly copy the exact position, but attempt the same feeling. And we do the same thing on our backs. The most important thing here is not the exercise itself, because it's exactly the same exercise you were doing sitting on the floor, but more to feel the weight of your legs inside your hips. So allow your hips to settle on the floor. That's very, very important. Feel how the whole exercise feels when you do that. Same with your circles. Also, I am not exactly sure if that was my imagination, but it sounds logical. What I felt was when I was flexing my toes, it was almost like it was the same feeling as sitting. which makes sense because you flex the toes and your knee wants to, it goes like a Z. It makes like a Z shape up towards the hip, or in this case, down towards the hip. So you flex the foot, and then your knee wants to go a little bit forward and bend, and your hip wants to go back, and as if you're sitting. Something to think about. And the opposite happens when you point the toes. And then we're going to make a nice big circle. So let's see what happens here. We stabilize one side. I want you to feel very strong on one side. You go down in a flex, then point the toes for a quarter circle, flex as you come up. So we flex as we go down, we point as we circle in, and we flex as we go up. But we want to take our mind on the standing side, the side that is not moving. Feel that you're yielding towards the floor with that side, so the other side is free. That's very important because it's exactly what we need when we're standing and we're ready to take a nice side step, and maybe we want to do a little circle as an embellishment. So notice how that leg aligns inside the hip so you can reverse it when you come into a standing position. We do the opposite circle as well. So we start and we point the toes as we go straight down, and then flex the toes to come up, circle around and come up. This is just the just to make the exercise work our legs in different ways, in different directions. The most important thing, though, that you need to focus on is creating that element of grounding, of yielding through one side so you can free up the other one and move. And we're going to need exactly that right here, only we are standing. We want to create freedom of movement of the leg inside the hip, but in order to do that, you need to take all the details from the exercises we did before, especially the last one when we're lying down on the floor, creating this very same circle. And this time, align the hip around the leg so you can freely move the leg inside the hip. Notice also how my whole foot spreads on the floor. So if you can see, it's not that I'm over the big toe or too much on the outside. It's the whole foot that spreads, all 5 toes every time. And that allows me to use my whole foot to ground myself and feel steady. So this is it. Last piece of advice, try to use your whole leg from toes to hip and notice not only how the muscles work, but most importantly, how the bones work together. Be very careful, very gentle as you start. As I said, you might get a few cramps if you push too much. It's not important to push to get a nice point. We're not going to become ballerinas. What is important here is that, yes, you get your legs stronger, and most importantly, you get to understand how your leg works, and how the 2 legs work together, and how each leg works with your hip. So when you're going to be standing, you're going to feel the support that's coming from the toes as they're spreading on the floor, how you create a steady base using your whole foot on the floor, and how that translates up, especially when you want to do a nice embellishment with that circle. So focus on these things. They are way more important than getting a nice flex or a nice point. So until next time, send me your questions and your feedback, and anything you have trouble with. I will be more than happy to make a video about it and, be with you as you're trying to figure things out. Till next time.